Yo, I put it like wow, this that sound. These oaks don't work hard like me, I hope they know by now. Bayo Bab, stand my ground. Bro, these money trees go overseas like Percy Tau. I'll make sure you stay around, quiet when I'm under loud. No negatives allowed, me and positivity took a vow. I always play to win, don't anticipate loss. Mind always in the clown, my boy. Never think about the drop, never ever ever think about the drop.
Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. I have returned, and it is my show. Portuguese guy called Paulo tried to take over, but not in my name. Not in my name. Listen, on a very serious note, I'm very proud of what the boys did last week, because I was a little bit worried, because in order to name a show after yourself, you do have to have an incredibly big ego. And I thought, oh, if I'm not here, everything's going to fall apart. So last week served to show that I am actually not needed, which is kind of good for my ego, but also terrible. So it does humble you to know that you've employed great people who will hold it together when you are not here and you're in the middle of a forest where people have a witch in Greyton. That's a real story. I'll explain that a little bit later. An official witch. In the studio with me, somebody who may or may not be a witch. They call him a physiologist, former left back, where Senzo is currently studying. Wits University, not really related. Obviously, they've just sold their name to a lady who's incredibly rich. And then she moved the team to Bloem and then to Durban immediately. Incredible scenes. Brad Phillips, how you doing?
Hello, boys. What's going on?
Yeah, good
Hi,
to
Bradley.
have you here. A man next to him. Yeah, I mean, the haircut thing is fantastic. Senzo Sitebe, how you doing?
I'm alright, champ. How are you?
I'm good. I've missed you guys.
Miss you too, man.
No, I mean, I missed most of you differently, though. It wasn't like I missed all of you the same, you know? Because a lot of people will say, oh, I missed all of you. Some of you I missed more than others. Some of you...
Why are you explaining? Like, you know, I don't like when people explain. Like, okay, cool.
Oh, I like to practice in the spirit of openness, you know? Because a lot of people always get upset when there's a gap between what they think is happening and what is actually happening. So I want you to know exactly what's happening, you know? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you don't get upset.
I hear you.
Anything to upset you over the weekend?
Yeah, bruh. Life is always going to upset you, but, you know, you have to take it with a pinch of salt.
Debbie Downer over here.
Yeah, he is a bit of a Debbie Downer. Do you have the Monday blues?
Yes. Both are needing you. But now we're going to be all right.
Is it because, you know, in Illovo, these are the kind of problems you have where you can invent...
And there it is. There it is.
Yeah. In Illovo, St. David's, last tough. Can't believe my mom was late to pick me up after care or whatever. I don't know what St. David's guys say.
Aftercare.
Was it that?
Aftercare. Who has aftercare in high school?
I don't know. You know, if you're not in boarding school, I just presume like, your life's ridiculous.
You mean if you're not in prison? Like, the jail that you went to.
That's the energy I missed. You see, that energy that you're having now, I missed that. Brad, were you working on the weekend?
Yeah. Not Sunday though, but I was in on Saturday.
Okay, and so for those who don't know, obviously, Brad, you are a physiologist. Now,
Indeed.
That's not a personal trainer. Because,
No.
you know, every time I was talking to you, talking about you this morning on the show, on Gareth's show, and I was like, okay, yeah, physiologist and what James is doing, blah, blah, blah. And I did say, yeah, I can vouch for him because he's my trainer. But then I thought, oh, no, that's... Because now you sound like... You know what you sound like when I say trainer? You're just training breakers.
Yeah, thick oaks. That's why you involved with.
Breakers in Australia, that word.
Yeah.
That's an age thing. It is an age thing. It's an Avo cap.
You know what I mean?
No. I also used to use the term breaker.
You don't have to force your way into being old. You're going to get old. You know what I mean? Sense.
Bruh.
Why are you rushing to get old, bro? You're so handsome as well.
I'd rather be old.
Than handsome.
You said I'm not going to be handsome when I'm old.
Oh, wow. All right, let's bring in a man who... James Elson, not sure if you heard that, who said I'm not going to... Senzo Sitebe, incredible scene saying he's going to be handsome, guaranteed, certified when he's old. He's obviously living an incredibly healthy lifestyle now because we all know what you do in your 30s affects what you look like in your 40s and 50s. Jimbo, you've decided to go with the I'm not getting a haircut approach ever again. And I mean, it looks pretty good. You got like the bedhead thing going, you know what I mean? Like I care, but I don't care. And the beard kind of looks like that guy who's just come off like a 3-month model shoot. You know what I mean? So is that the whole thing now? And obviously you're not giving a video call to your mom because she would be sick at the sight of you. Not saying she doesn't love you, but I mean, she raised you to get a haircut. You know what I mean?
Look, I do have to get my life in order by, I think, 2 weeks from now.
What's the story?
Because my mom's coming to Joburg.
Oh my wordness. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not information I knew. This is unbelievable. Why is she coming here? Is she sick of looking at you, not having a haircut, and possibly with your lady breaking up with you? Is she coming to do an intervention?
Sure. Not that I'm aware of. She's just coming here to see me and see friends and stuff.
How long is she going to be here?
For a week.
So is she staying with you, or is she staying with like an adult somewhere where there's actually food in the fridge and stuff like that?
Well, she wouldn't be able to stay with me because even though it's a 2-bedroom apartment, one room's an office. So it's the sleeping arrangement.
Disrespecting his mother like that.
Yeah, no, like I said, she's staying with an adult, is what she said.
Yeah, so in your words, she's staying with someone that loves her.
Yeah, no, that actually, because you know what should be happening is, no, Mom, you can stay with me because I've got a couch. I'll sleep on the couch.
Honest.
And you sleep on the... But James, I'm not telling you how to live your life because your mom obviously raised you and you guys have your own thing going. But it shows me because you're not willing to get a haircut in general and you know that makes her angry. So you obviously wouldn't let her sleep in your bed. Plus also, actually, good thing you're saving your mom because let's go back to the madness of James not knowing what size bed he has. So, you know, the worst thing in the world is happening at your house right now. Right? If you're a grown-up, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. When the fitted sheet doesn't actually fit on the bed properly and you're twisting and turning, I've been in this situation, trust me, I've been poor. And every time you turn over, by the morning, the fitted sheet has actually come off the bed. So your mom, obviously having worked 25 years to send you to St. Stithians, which means actually she had no life for 25 years. There's no way she worked that hard to go to a house where, first of all, it's probably 100 thread count and it feels like she's sleeping on the thorns, same thorns that were in Jesus' crown. So it feels like that's her bed. It's an absolute rubbish thread count because you're spending all your money on, I don't know, upgrades on Apex Legends or whatever. So there's no way she's coming to sleep on that bed. Absolutely ridiculous. But secondly, she's probably going, I don't want to hurt his feelings because I know there's going to be no food and I'm not playing that game. I've already spent enough money on him. Jimbo, just your thoughts.
It was just so much to take in. I don't know if I have any thoughts.
Yeah, that's going to happen. You got. I mean, maybe learn what size your bed is, James. But great to see you. I'm back. It's good to see you. I mean, we got a full crew back there. Great to have all of you guys back, and great to have Brad. James, maybe actually when your mom's here, maybe look after her. Maybe offer to just pay for a steak for the first time in your relationship.
So we are like gonna be going out and stuff quite a bit. So
who's paying that?
Yeah, who's paying?
You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try, but I know, and everyone knows, I'm sure, what moms can be like.
Yeah, great.
So it definitely is my goal to pay for a lot of things, but my mom's very stubborn. So it's like
sneak off, go to the bathroom, and just swipe.
Thank you. And I've said exactly that. Okay, James. I mean, Brad, grown up, right? This is about the fourth time you've used this excuse, Brad.
These are the lessons we'll learn as of tomorrow morning.
Yeah, becoming a better man. Quite right, James. Find a way to pay tomorrow morning. I mean, let's get straight into it. Obviously, James begins his journey. That's going to be a whole thing. Brad, what are we thinking there? Because, I mean, I do have some questions before we actually talk about James, but I love that you've gone straight to it. Tomorrow, James has set a time, actually. I believe it's 5:15.
Yeah.
So 5:15 we start training, or he has to be there at the gym?
So he has to be there at 5:15.
Uh-huh.
I'll take him through functional assessment protocol, and then we'll take him through some a big joint health assessment protocol, which would be the big Cybex machine that you went on.
Yeah.
So he'll be with me from 5:15 to 5:45, then with Dean from 5:45 to 6:45. That gives me the opportunity to build his plan, and we kick it off from there as of Wednesday.
Right, James Jimbo Ilsley. You've now heard what's going to be happening. So 5:15, I mean, I've heard you have excuses and you live about 7 minutes from work for why you're late for this. 5:15 in the morning, James, when was the last time you got up to be anywhere at that time? You actually have to be ready at 5:15, by the way. I'm not saying arrive there at 5. So actually you have to be at Gold's Gym tomorrow. Shout out to Gold's Gym in Morningside. You got to be there at 5 o'clock. Your thoughts, James?
I'm actually okay with it.
Do we have a plan though? Are we going to pack tonight? I mean, I know it's a whole new world for you. Pack the bag. It's already ready. It's by the doorstep. Everything that I need is in there. My drinks, my recovery drinks, whatever, in the fridge. They're chilled. All I'm doing is grabbing them, throwing in the bag, or do we have another plan?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to. So I did give it a lot of thought this weekend about how I'm structuring my week.
Mm-hmm.
And I did want to be as prepared as possible in terms of, like, if I can save time in the mornings by preparing in the evenings, like you say, then that's what I'm going to do. So tonight I'm going to sort everything out, get everything in order, and tomorrow we start.
Now, James, obviously you made your mom's life hell because in Johannesburg, worst traffic maybe in the world is you decided there's no way I'm going to go to boarding school and actually think about my mother. I made her drive from the West Rand all the way to industrial area Randburg. So just your thoughts on showering at a gym and being naked in a locker room situation, which you could have done in practice for in boarding school. That is obviously going to be your life because you're not going to be late for work. How's that going to go for you, pal?
Fine, I suppose.
All right, let's see.
Should I be concerned? What's going on here now?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't think you've ever been in that setting. I can't imagine, You were a day scholar, your mum would pick you up regardless, even though she'd work a 16-hour day, she'd have to cut it in half just to come and fetch you, even though you could probably have caught a taxi home, or like most of South Africans, you're like, no way, you are driving all the way from your job, drive me to the West Rand and get me Woolworth snacks and then drop me at home. This is going to be a whole new world.
About 400% of that is incorrect.
Oh, well, what's the story? How did you get home?
Well, obviously my mom fetched me, but it wasn't like, oh, James, like, let's go home, let's get you Woolworths, and then you can do your homework with the nanny, and then no.
What was the story? All right, take me into it. James, you're going into a life-changing journey. We got to know how you started. You know what I mean?
So my mom would usually work until probably like 4, 4:30.
Uh-huh.
And school would end at like 20 to 2, or was it 20 to 3? One of those two.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
And then me and my brother would be there after school until about 4:30 doing either homework, or if we didn't have homework, nothing really.
Yeah,
Because
just
that's the
surviving
way it
Randburg.
worked. She was a working mum, and we understood that. Contrary to popular belief.
No, you didn't. But okay, James, I'm really looking forward to this. Senzo, what are you backing, James? I mean, yeah, I haven't really heard anything from you about James's journey. You were kind of away writing your own exam, trying to fix your own life because you want to be a CA and actually execute, because you do have a brain. Some people do think handsome face, maybe he's just stupid, but you do actually have a brain, a very big one, far smarter than me. Could never ever get into the degree you're in. So what do you think about James' journey?
No, man, I'm backing him, man. Like, he's doing a good thing. Like, also, he's doing it for himself, and like, you can see, like, he's properly invested.
Yeah.
And he's not making a whole song and dance about it. He's not talking about it. He's actually doing it. So it's great.
So, Senzo, while you were away, upgrading your life, obviously, I'm not sure if you heard about this, but James Ilsley has committed to running a half marathon as well, on top of this. Good. Has that come your way, that information?
Yeah, I heard whisperings about it, but nice, James. Good.
Jimbo! Good. Let's get the face of a runner before we come back to Brad, because I do actually have some questions for Brad. James is a runner. Let's look at that face. It's the last time you're going to see his face like that. See, he looks happy, confused, and oh my goodness, what have I done? But in about 5 months, oh my goodness, James, are you kidding me? Strava. And what I like about James is that he always makes fun of the people, but he's going to be full-on Strava guy, full-on selfie guy, like outside is free, hashtag do the things you love. It's going to be incredible. Strava's on fire. Plus, James is an incredible designer. He's going to have the black and white filter on the photo about the journey through life, even though James always makes fun of the white ladies that do that. So it's going to be incredible to see that unfold from you, James. I absolutely love it. Brad, I got to ask you this. Something I was thinking about on the weekend. So I was in Tsitsikamma. And Nature's Valley, unbelievable place, just unbelievable. I can't explain it to people unless they've been there. It's a hidden gem. It's just crazy. But I remember seeing, like, there's two different types of people, right? So on the Thursday is something they call the challenge. There's a time limit of 11 hours for them. But the big race on Saturday, there's a 9-hour limit, which is
Wow.
super tight.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the hardest races in the world in terms of technical for distance. You know, meter for meter. It gives as good as it has as a rival around the world. But I ended up thinking about something because I am a little bit obsessive. So I write everything I do every single day. I write it down, you know. And I was thinking about the difference between the 11-hour guys and the 9-hour guys. And I wanted to ask you this as somebody who has been elite himself in terms of actually going to the top level of sport yourself. But, you know, I was talking to somebody who I went to school with, who I was fortunate to see there, and we were talking about mental toughness. And I thought, yes, you know, with Brad, I've realized where I am now and how soft I've actually become mentally with a lot of the training you've put me through. But I wanted to ask you, do you think mental toughness is something you can train? Or if you want to be great, does that have to just be from inside? And I was thinking about it from Saturday until today.
Well, I think it's a combination of the two, because one you can dial up, and the other it has to be born within you. So regardless, you can tune the volume up on either spectrum if you sit on either side of the fence.
And you've worked with, I mean, the sharpest of the sharp. I forget the lady you were telling me about, who's maybe the greatest OCR athlete we've ever produced. What's her name again?
And
you said she's the
Sam
best.
Ryder.
Sam Ryder.
Complete machine.
Yeah. So, but what is it about them, like those animals? Because people think it doesn't hurt for them. You know, people always reduce, and it's, for me, I don't believe in talent. It's like, you got the genetics you got, and to take it to that level, I mean, she must work and must have worked and must be able to mentally stay in the red zone more than I would. You know, I don't know, is that true or not?
Well, yeah, so at the moment, I wouldn't say she's training as hard as what she had previously, but when it comes to competition time, she tunes in and she gets the job done.
Yeah.
No music on, not listening to your favorite song. It is time to grind, and that's when you see that magic happen.
Yeah, because I do think with someone like her, it's like there is a level, like you said, where you can tune it, but there are decisions she's making to be great that are internal. It's just whatever I must do is, if you're sleeping on Christmas, she's probably out there doing 400 burpees.
Jeez,
Well,
like,
I remember
that's insane.
it is madness. We went for a road run, and she's not the biggest fan of road running. She likes to do lots of high intensity stuff. That's her game. But we went on a road run. Again, she hates running, but we hit the last big hill, and she said something to me, and I looked back at her, and she just sprinted up the hill. It's like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
Straight up. I obviously attempted to catch her, and I did catch her.
Yeah.
Try and blow my own horn there.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, when individuals like that see an obstacle, they're like, okay, well, I got to get my head down and just do it. And I mean, you're one of those as well. So much so we had that 20-minute burst not this weekend, but the weekend before that.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, horrible job that I just did. So you dialed it up another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to do with you as a person and whatever your foundations are.
And you know, these elite people inspire me. And just lastly on this, because it's awesome what James is doing, and we'll release the podcast later this afternoon, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. But for me, something that's interesting is like observing this weekend again. It's like, and it made me think of like what we're doing and some of the people I see at Gold's Gym and like that. It's like, for you, you're training a spectrum as well. There's the elite guys versus lifestyle. James is more starting off in terms of just wanting to be healthy, you know. And I think a lot of people confuse that world. And I often see people come to me and they want to be at the performance level instead of just worrying about getting into good habits. So for you, I'd love you to quickly talk me through the cycle of, I was doing nothing. Like, where do you start, guys? Do you start on the mental side? Do you start on the purely physical? Are they linked?
So I would always start on the physical side because that's why they've come to me.
Yeah.
And then I'd always go and approach them based on their deficits. So if I've assessed you and I pick up any of your issues, we work on that first. And a lot of the time people don't like to deal with rehabilitation, right? So they see rehab as a chore, and it isn't a chore. You get those things right, then you get to dial the others up.
Got you.
So we work on changing mechanics first, and then we start to ramp up those mechanics from that moment onward. And also, you teach people patience as you take them through some of the rehabilitation. Teach them a bit of patience. You set goals. You get them to identify what those goals are. You get them to realize them by showing, okay, cool, pain was an issue. Now pain isn't an issue. So now there aren't any obstacles. Now we have to start working for whatever your training objective is.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is an incredible. It's an incredible thing to watch. You know, people go from lifestyle to performance, but I do urge people to kind of listen to what you're saying, because people want to go from nothing to performance, and I'm just like, oh no, you're going to be back in 6 months with an Achilles tendon issue or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Well,
the amount of clients that I've got from, let's say, some of the personal trainers in the gym, so they've come up. They've got hurt while training with a PT. They'll come and see me. And I'm like, okay, well, actually, you need to see me for a little bit more than what you are your PT. But they're like, their situation will be like, well, it's not exactly hard work yet. I'm not sprinting. I'm not doing burpees. I'm not sweating excessively, even though they end up feeling sore afterwards. They don't want to go through the slow stuff first. And at the end of the day, like you said, they end up falling off and getting hurt, and they have to come straight back.
And somebody prominent was saying something to me. So, Senzo, you ever thought about this lifestyle thing? I mean, it's I've never really asked you about it. Does it matter to you? Is it?
Of course, it matters, because the thing is, like, you know, it's just a very subtle thing. Like, you know, people that go to a gym, right, or they train, or they look after themselves in that way, right? They get into good habits, and it's about a routine. Like, gym is a routine, because every day you have to go at this time, or you know, it can't be helter-skelter. And you see how they live their lives. Those people, like, they like structure. They don't like things to be, you know, I'll wing it. They don't like winging things. They like orderly things. Even if something's gonna go bad, they know, okay, cool, I can prepare for it. I can, you know what I mean? Because once you have a routine, it actually shows that, okay, cool. If you have a routine, it shows commitment. Yeah. And that's how it starts. It starts like very small things. You know what I mean?
Would you? What about you? Were you thinking maybe, hey, you get involved in that whole lifestyle stop?
Yeah, I would, but I need to be properly committed to it. Like now, I mean, if I tell you now that I'm gonna go to the gym, like I wouldn't have given it some thought. I would have just be saying it to appease somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you must just if you say you're gonna do something, you must commit to it properly. You know what I mean? Don't do it to quit.
So well, you should commit to going to the gym then.
No, I should, but as I said, my head is not properly in it yet.
In the game, man. Yeah. Okay, so Brad, there's a good example of somebody who's like on the fence about it. Like, for you, a big part, and what I love about working with you is that there has never once been talk about aesthetics. It's always about health. Yeah. It's always about health. It's never been about look a certain way, and I love that. And these are the kinds of details I listen to. Otherwise, I don't want to work with people who want to. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, pal. Like the aesthetics will take care of themselves if I do the right things.
Yeah.
And I love that you're process orientated. But let's say like a guy like Senzo who's saying, you know, okay, it sounds like there's something there. Do you ever run into people in general where you try and get them to the lifestyle, if I can call it that, sounding a little bit like what Senzo's saying?
You get that all the time. The big thing is Senzo's already said that, well, like it isn't at his core at the moment, but when he's ready for it, that's when you get to make that decision. And a lot of people do sit on the fence, and those are also the individuals like you mentioned routine earlier. A lot of people go to gym, say they're going to gym, but they end up on the bicycle for a solid 20 minutes, riding at 50 RPMs. You know? So like there's no change. So it's actually good that Senzo's said, well, cool, I get it, but that's not me right now. But I'm sure when the opportunity arises, that's when you'll pitch up to the plate.
Because the thing is, like, you don't want to commit to something, especially like, you know, let's say I commit with you, right? Firstly, it's your time and it's your expertise, right? And you can see that, okay, this guy's not properly serious. And also, there's a difference. Some people, as you said, some people just go to gym, right? And they just go there like just because, oh, okay, I went to gym. They go to gym and they don't actually do anything. They sit there and they fat for an hour. And you're just like, okay, cool. Why'd you come to the gym? Because to look cool or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You get it quite a bit, and like I'm not about that. I'm not about that, because also you're paying money for this thing. Like, it doesn't. It's not like.
But that's the accountant right there. Doing the right stuff.
There's the
Love
CA.
Love that.
No,
that's correct, bro.
No, because the thing is, like, I've seen this all the time. Yo, guys, let's go to gym. Especially guys that go to gym, like, let's say you go with your friends. It ends up becoming a party. You guys don't actually do anything constructive. You go there, it's just an excuse to hang out with your friends and like talk nonsense. That's why some people who go to gym, they go alone. Like, they go at odd hours. Like, I had a mate, like, Planet Fitness, like, it was 24 hours. He used to go to gym at like 1 a.m. And I was like, geez, bro. He's like, nah, it's because also there's nothing distracting me. And he just said he used to go for 45 minutes.
But clap it.
Yeah, not 2 hours. Like, what are you doing 2 hours in the gym, 3 hours in the gym? Like,
Makes no sense.
Yeah, you're not Ronnie Coleman. Pal.
Exactly.
Unless you're Ronnie Coleman, what are you doing? But again, you know, for me, and it's something I wrote down 2 years ago. Because that's when I really started to, I could feel myself getting better. After sort of 6 years of just being in the health lifestyle and smashing 100 milers and 100Ks and all that kind of stuff, is 2 years ago, I was like, yes, I love the gifts of what I'm getting. You know, and it's hard for me, especially with my personality type, not to become a preacher immediately at that time. But I realized at the time, you'd be like, I'm a terrible, terrible ambassador for health lifestyle because I'm not an empathetic person. So my mindset, even now, is still, I don't understand why you're out of shape.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that emotional maturity to go, people go through stuff. To me, I'm like, oh, no, this is the only way to live. Like, somebody said, what if you were ever out of shape? And I said to them, I laughed out loud, not because I was being, like, demeaning to them. I was like, I can't imagine that world. What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm not working out 5 days a week?
Yeah.
Like, what do you... So, Brad, I mean, I don't even know how to be... Is there such a thing as a proper, like, advocate for health lifestyle? Like, it's something I think about so hard now, especially this past weekend.
Well, it's actually... It's quite difficult to say, but, I mean, let me try and put it this way. I've got a client, right, who... He's got an incredible brain, literally finished #1 in the world at actuarial sciences. Right?
Jesus.
His exam was #1 in the world. Incredible, but he's also an extremist. So you'd go, whatever he did, he'd go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And he started a little journey with me. He's a little overweight, pitched up, yes, I'm keen, this is what I want to do. Okay, fine. Look for excuses the entire time up until literally... But 5 days ago, got his first compliment. He's like, actually, yeah, now it's time to tune in.
Wow.
So all the excuses out of the way. He's like, my lifestyle was X. I tried to visit that lifestyle again. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Got this first compliment. He's like, I'm actually a complete health junkie now. Because now he's feeling a certain way. He's getting it from external sources as well.
Yeah.
He's stronger. He's starting to notice things about himself. He has to like buy a whole new wardrobe. Like all these little things are starting to tick those boxes. He's climbing up the ladder that he wants to climb work-wise.
Yeah.
So it's all starting to make sense now.
Yeah.
And I think to finally get there, people actually just need to be truly honest with themselves.
That's the thing. Because that's exactly the thing. Because the thing is, like, you know, you can try lie to everybody. I can tell you nonsense, but there's one person, you can't lie to yourself ultimately. You can't lie to yourself ultimately. And the thing is, once you stop making excuses for yourself or whatever, or trying to justify or trying to victim blame or you know, or feel sorry for yourself, that's when you're truly in touch and in tune with what you want to do and all that. Because I mean, it starts and ends with you.
Yeah,
the
eventually
buck
you
stops
start
with
running
you.
out of excuses, right?
Yeah, you do.
Like I mean, saying you can't not have a sugary drink in his water.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring him in. Old Ryan Tinline here. He says Ryan.
It was tea or what was it? It was
Water.
tea, right?
No. He can't have water.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
No, Ryan says he cannot drink water and he doesn't understand how we do it. Now, a lot of people are saying the cells we have evolved from water actually for about 4.6 billion years, 6,000 if you're a Bible person. I don't mind either of you at all. So, Ryan, just your thoughts saying you can't drink water.
Yeah, I still stand by it. I still haven't been able to drink any water. If you drink water, you rust. So I'm trying to avoid that.
No, you've got a redhead just said
You're
that. He's
already a
rusted.
redhead. Yeah. Well, how much more are you going to rust?
I rust or what's...
Yeah.
There's a couple excuses of why I don't drink water.
Let's hear it. Give me two.
Well, the rust.
Oh, the rust
one.
thing. Yeah, sorry, that's a scientific one. Yeah.
The other one is just pure taste. That's why I was in complete fear of COVID, because if I lost taste, then everything would taste like water. That's personal hell. Like, that's why I had to avoid getting COVID at all costs. Because then everything would taste like water, and that's personal hell.
Incredible.
I have another excuse for Ryan.
I've never heard something so incredible in my entire life, and I've lived for 35 years. You know, Ryan, a lot of people wanted to avoid COVID for things like dying. But you thought, no.
I can't taste sugar.
Yo, what if my Fanta tastes like water?
Can you imagine? Yes.
I have another excuse for Ryan.
Well, I mean, what are you guys, bosom buddies? All right, let's hear it from your bosom buddy, James. there.
Hashtag besties. So the human
Or maybe
body...
your mom can't sleep over because Ryan's doing the sleepover and you've only got a double bed and you guys are, 6 foot, both 6'2", 6'3".
They both got boobs, eh?
Moves.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
You got moves.
I didn't say it. Yeah, it's brutal feedback, but it's feedback nonetheless. Yeah, Jimbo, what's your...
That's very professional.
Yeah.
So,
No, I actually missed my chirp there.
Yeah,
I actually messed it up.
yeah.
I was actually going to say something about someone's mom, but I'm not going to anymore.
Yeah, that's offside.
Probably good. Yeah, the boobs thing is probably... That's just the right amount of locker room talk.
Sorry, guys.
James, now that you're feeling sensitive about possibly having a B cup, I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying, what was the excuse for your bosom buddy Ryan?
if I'm not mistaken, the human body is made up of, I think, 70% water.
You were there, weren't you?
Hey?
Didn't you touch on something remotely similar to that?
Yeah, no. But James he doesn't. Both Ryan and James have a thing where they don't listen to me. I did see Tony McCann this weekend. She said I'm gonna say hi to James. But so James, okay. So the human body is
Isn't it made up of like 70% of water?
okay. And so what does that mean?
So why do you need more in your body?
Sure.
That's not my excuse. That's for Ryan. I don't
also,
mind drinking water.
I would just like to say I'm walking proof that you don't have to drink water. Like, there's Aras and Mazoe and...
Joe, concentrate.
So you're walking proof, eh, Ryan?
Well, yeah. You guys said it the other day. I'm almost... Well, I don't want to say I'm as big as Flip, because Flip is massive. But
Yeah.
I'm like... the biggest, yeah, I think. I
So-
think.
Okay, so what does that mean? Or like
You don't need to drink water.
to be as big as you?
No. So I mean, I drink
drop the
a Coke
mic.
a day,
Drop the
Coke
mic,
a day
bro.
or two.
This is the best day of my life. Wow. This is honestly, like, I'm not kidding. This is the greatest day, Brad. This is
Love it.
because Brad, your problem is you work with elite athletes.
No,
You always work with science.
I work with science, but actually majority of my clients are normal human beings.
Yeah.
Normal dudes that are just trying to start something, or they've gotten hurt and they're trying to get out of that. But my normal clients actually, like the guys in the back.
Boobs, rust,
Sure.
and that's how I get this big. Mazoe, he says. You don't need water.
Mazoe?
Well, look, my mate James said, well, the body's 70% water. Why do you need bosom buddies? Brad,
Love it.
You're a legend, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for coming in today. And the journey begins for James tomorrow on a very serious note. Thank you for
Very
doing
keen,
this.
James.
Thank you for doing this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it unfold and all of the ups and downs. I'm here for it because I want to see James is really a good kid, and I want to see. I mean, what's exciting for me, and I will say this to every single person who I'm an advocate. There are people I'm never excited about the exercise itself. I don't care if you can do 1,000 push-ups within the next 12 months. That's not what excites me. Is what James is going to do now. What excites me, even if he, let's just say, and I don't think he will, but let's just say he does only 1 month. The person he's going to have to become to stick to the deal is what's exciting for me.
100%,
Because
yeah.
in all, that's what excites me about lifestyle, not the outcomes. I'm a process guy. I'm always excited about the reason I do 100k races, right? And every journey is different. I'm excited about the man I'm going to become when I do a 100k race. And for James, I'm excited at the man he's going to be for himself, for his mom, for his girlfriend, and for his friends, and ultimately for me. And it's an
But
awesome
I like what you said, because the thing is, like, as well, do you know I'm also rooting for James? As you said, he's one of the nicest people I've ever met, James.
Yeah, genuine.
One of the nicest people I've ever met, like genuine.
100%.
And he's not fake about it.
Yeah.
And he's not putting it on. That's who he is. So yeah, no, that's why I'm about it.
Those are powerful words from Senzo Terry. And he's dead right. He's dead right. Jimbo on the journey. We look forward to ensuring that he, it'll be ups, it'll be downs. It'll basically the Kaiser Chiefs of health journeys. Brad, awesome. On the other side, we will be talking the first Formula One, which is F1. It's a bunch of turkeys that were hosting a race yesterday. Incredible. God watered the pitch. Phenomenal stuff. I don't want to say it again. We'll talk about it on the other side. I was dead right. That should always be happening. The MKT show. We got Spike Valentine on the other side. You're still doing it. You are still doing it. So, obviously there was a coup last week. Not military, but more in a Portuguese sort of subtle way, trying to take over the show, and people thought it would hurt my feelings. Now, we have had some, some what you might call bugs in the system today, and obviously on social media, we're communicating that we're professionals. And obviously now the leader of the takeover has put up a tweet in reply to what we've said, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it, and this is still him planting seeds, trying to take over the show, and we'll deal with that tomorrow because we will see him and we will address it. I'm not afraid to do it, but here is the tweet, and you can all see it at home. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, let me move on. Now we're going to talk about a bunch of turkeys who hosted a race where people went very, very fast. Immediately, I must tell you, a man with an incredible beard has joined us. His name is Spike Ballantyne. Spike, how are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you? I'm just wondering to myself if you've ever managed to get into a segment or start a sentence without putting in a pun of some kind.
No,
Or at the very least, put in a decent pun.
Can't help himself. He can't help
It's a
himself.
disease.
I mean,
it's an illness.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Formula One now. All signs obviously lead me to believe no.
There must be a penalty of some kind for the reuse of the signs and the finish and the
I like how you
max
say
and the-
penalty.
Yeah?
Yeah, there needs to be a forfeit or a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, because he was off the grid. That's why he's.
why would you say? Because this last race, any
I
pun
can't.
would be foul of this last race.
Oh, turkey foul, I get it, yeah. No, terrible.
You know what I'm saying? All right, James.
That's why I ignored him.
James Ilsley, obviously a new man, about to run a half marathon. For people who don't know, that's a whole different world that he's in right now. Tomorrow morning he will be at a gym at 5:15 a.m. in the morning. James, what do you have, pal?
So one that we've missed, I think, I could be wrong, but they said it quite a bit this weekend, and even Max himself said it in an interview. Maximum effort.
No, I've done
Have we
every
done
single
that
Max. Yeah, I've done every Max pun possible. So
We need a new one.
Yeah.
Try get a new one.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you haven't worked in like maxillofacial surgeon or something while we've been having these
Wow, wow.
conversations.
And I will. I will find a way. I will find a way.
bless
But I
you,
do
Spike.
like that maximum effort. It's incredible stuff. I do like a pun. It's excellent stuff. All right, but let's get straight to it because sweet mother of turkey stuffed with a tin can if you know how to cook it. What an incredible race. Spike, I hate to say... What am I saying? I love to say it. I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
What are the pitch? G.O.D., he gets involved. Obviously, he saved the Israelites all those years ago. 2021 years later, he thought, let me make it rain in Turkey.
No,
Wow.
more than 2021 years, because that was like 1,000 years before JC arrived.
Oh,
so-
really?
Yeah, they don't measure year zero from Moses' time when he rescued the Israelites.
Oh. Okay. Well,
I'm pretty sure my 13 years of Catholic school have taught me that. I mean,
Yeah. You and Senzo went to the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
school.
yeah.
Senzo, any thoughts on timelines in the Bible? I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but you guys, it was...
Also, it's a long time since I was at school, so I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timelines in the Bible, guys. We weren't there. We don't know. Guys, what if the Bible is in reverse? Eh?
Yeah.
What? No, seriously, like, have you ever thought about it?
No.
What if Moses was actually there at the end? Jesus was somewhere there in the beginning.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve had to be at the beginning, like for the story's sake, for completeness sake.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise it doesn't make
For
sense.
continuity.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense otherwise. Otherwise the whole Bible's a farce. Adam and Eve can't be in the middle.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
No. But I see what you're saying. What if Noah, the ark, that was
Yeah,
actually,
bro.
you know?
And how do you really know?
What if he taught Jesus how to be a carpenter?
You know what I mean? And they got it wrong, and Moses wasn't actually Moses, and it was Samson. Because, guys, do you know what the Bible is? It's all broken telephone. No, listen, no. Let me get into what I'm saying. Like,
Sure.
no, because look, why? No, listen, it's the gospel according to so and so.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So someone else might have had a different perspective.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like, let's say you were at a party, or you hear about a fight.
Yes.
And then you see a different angle, and someone else sees a different angle.
Yes.
Yeah, he clapped him. No, he
Yeah.
didn't clap him.
Yeah.
He punked him in the eye, and then you know what I mean. So that's how they say the gospel according to John or
Yes.
to Luke or to you know what I mean.
Okay. No, that's...
It's hearsay, guys.
I'm open to outcomes. So what you're saying is possible. I have to acknowledge that if I believe in it.
Because my thing is, how do we really know? No, none of us were there. There were no cameras. Some guy decided, and Bible's not written by one person. It's different people. So.
And then also edited by some guy like 300 years later going, no, that story.
this
I
is
like this
nonsense.
story. I
Yeah,
like that
exactly.
story. Give me this story.
Okay, look, this is good critical feedback, and I don't think anyone religious can really
Yeah.
push back on this. This is empirical thinking.
Also,
but
nothing to do with Formula One.
no. Although, having said that, God did make it rain on the pitch.
Yeah, so my
yesterday.
question to you, yes, he did, but it was a very, very stable wet pitch. You know what I mean? It was raining in the little bit in the beginning, and then it smoothed out, and then that's why we had guys on their intermediate tires for so long, is because the conditions were fairly stable. They
The
didn't-
aesthetic spike when the cars are racing, the water's
Oh
coming
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
and
a
then-
TV show.
Yeah, and also you get guys like Nikita Mazepin who saw that he couldn't see anything in his mirrors because of all the spray and all the dirt that was stuck to his mirrors, which is why he almost took out Hamilton and turned 11 there. He was saying, "Oh no, I didn't see anything." So yeah, it did add some drama for sure.
In fairness, old Mazepin doesn't need the conditions to be terrible to.
No,
That
he can
guy's a
have-
horrible driver.
no, he can spin in the best conditions known to man.
All right, obviously the race was electric, but before we get to that, listen. So is everyone now just gonna have engine issues? Do we need to swallow that bitter pill? Because three I'd say mainstays in the storyline of Formula One, and just like because I was obviously in a forest where they've never had signal anywhere, so I couldn't actually watch the race live
Right.
or anything like that. So I was catching up on obviously the best sports app in the world. The F1 app is
Yeah.
incredible, and I was seeing penalties and this and that, and maybe you want to talk us through. I mean, Hamilton, Sainz, Ricciardo, what is going on there?
Yeah, so I mean, it is at that time of the year where you've got to consider, especially for the championship leaders, they've got to, if the engine penalties are coming and they're pretty sure they're going to have to replace engines, it's a matter of where do we replace engines. So for Red Bull, last time out at Sochi, this is where we're going to do it because we're going to take the least amount of pain. And same for Mercedes. Their penalty was less severe because they only took the internal combustion unit as a replacement, not the full thing like Max did last time out. That's why Hamilton got the 10 places. And Mercedes came out and said the reason we did that is because Hamilton does very well here and it's a good track for passing. So that's why they decided to do it then. Dan Ricciardo and Sainz, full engine replacements to the back of the grid. For Ricciardo, not so much of an issue. And for Sainz, not so much of an issue in terms of where they are in the championships. But for Ferrari and McLaren, who are battling each other for third place, and it's getting tighter now, McLaren could have done with a better showing from Danny Rick. And I mean, Sainz just driver of the day yesterday. We're hands down. I don't care what even if the pundits have got it wrong, he was outstanding yesterday. And I think that was not what McLaren would have wanted because now that gap between for the third place is closed.
Jimbo, you see yesterday, obviously all of those penalties, but just your thoughts quickly before we get into it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Guys, maybe make better engines is what I'm thinking with all that money, and I don't really care about costs. So stop fining guys for a ridiculous thing. I find it absolutely crazy. But Jimbo, just your thoughts on the pitch being watered. Obviously, you did send me a text. I did get that in the middle of Nature's Valley Forest, and you said God has watered the pitch. Just your thought on the aesthetic. I know you're about vibes. Spike, obviously a hardcore fan. He knows what he's talking about. But for you, James, you're all about the aesthetic graphics.
I do enjoy Formula One even when, like, just as a sport. But when God waters the pitch, it does add a different, like, element.
Right?
It
Hey,
does,
Jimbo.
it does.
So maybe
It does.
you know what we need to do? When you're about 21 or 22, girls start to mature early.
Right.
And there's always these hardcore guys who think they're gonna, bro, I'll never have a chick, bro. I'll never, like, whatever. And what smart girls do at around 21, 22 is they just wait around and they wear you down. Maybe we should do that to Spike, take the girl mentality is just wear him down, hang around. God, keep watering the pitch. We'll keep saying it for another 2 years. Before you know it, Spike's wearing a raincoat and you have for no reason in African
Wait,
time.
is Spike against God watering the pitch?
Oh, he's not into it. Like, we're into the graphic aesthetic. Spike's
Yeah.
going, either way, he just wants to watch the racing.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that I've been watching Formula One for a long time, I think you're gonna have to take. It's gonna take a few years for me to just walk in here randomly with a raincoat. I think you've got a lot of work. If that's your strategy, just be prepared for the hard graft.
Well, what I'll do is James will start putting posters of, like, sort of on his way here, just like a raindrop.
Subliminal.
Like at the door of the other studio.
Yeah.
And just slowly but surely kind of inseminate that and plant that seed. It will happen, Spike. Even though now you think you know about it, you have no idea. Like, put a water bottle in his seat where he sits at the other office. Oh no, moisture. You know what I mean? It'll work. I'll find it.
Also, as a team building exercise, Spike, before you come on the show, we're going to do like rain dances and stuff with you.
That is a great... Did you say as a team building exercise?
Yeah.
That is incredible stuff, James. Not just a handsome face and a guy who needs a haircut, but definitely all about team building. I absolutely love what you're saying. All right, let's get to the race, Spike, because in all honesty, it was an absolute slobber knocker of a race. It was awesome. To the point where, by the way, I got home last night, right? Big time mover groover. I got home at 11 last night. I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch just 6 minutes of the highlights. And then I watched the 6 minute highlights package. I'm like, no. With everything that's happened here, plus they aren't capturing what happened with Lewis, which we'll talk about. I ended up watching the 35-minute package.
The whole 35 minutes.
Got no sleep.
You're hardcore.
No. I had to get into it. I thought, oh my goodness, this is incredible.
Right.
But let's start off. I mean, obviously the early collision there, the gas man and
Gutted.
and then
Gutted. Two of my favorite drivers. And then so they came together turn one, and it was
Alonso. Hey,
I felt especially bad for Alonso because he qualified 6th. He done really well to get that car up there. He came out and said he wasn't expecting to qualify so well.
Yeah.
Put it on 6th into turn one. Gasly basically punted him off. Gasly got a penalty for it, which I thought was a little bit unfair, because if you look at the onboard, he was squeezed between Perez and Alonso. He didn't really have anywhere to go. He was putting on a lot of luck, and it looked like he understeered into Alonso. And I think that's what the stewards kind of gave him the penalty for. Was like, you should understand when you arrive at that corner at a certain speed, doesn't matter how much luck you put on, you're going to understeer. So you should have been a bit more cautious. You ruined Alonso's race, so 5-second penalty for you.
But like you said, I watched it a couple of times because I heard the commentator saying, "Oh, that's rough as well."
Yeah.
What's he supposed to do there?
Yeah, I think the thing is, for me, and also I'm not an F1 driver, obviously.
Yet.
But the thing is, when you are approaching that corner, conditions are tricky. Your tires are relatively cold. The surface is wet. It's gonna be tight. I think if Gasly had backed off slightly, and of course he's not going to want to give up the position, but I think part of the reason he understeered was he probably carrying a little bit too much speed in there. So had he not carried so much pace into that corner, he might have had a bit more front-end grip. He might have been able to turn away from Alonso a bit more effectively without hitting Perez, because there was still enough space on his left-hand side. I think he simply just understeered into Alonso.
And you got to set a precedent, right? Is that we can't have this every 3 races now, and guys start making excuses.
Well, exactly. And I mean, what happened a few laps later is Alonso went into Mick Schumacher, and Alonso got a penalty. So they had some consistency there at least.
No, as long as there's some consistency. And I heard something really interesting that the commentators were saying on that collision. Actually, were saying, it's such a pity for Alonso, and I didn't realize this was a part of his armory, that apparently he is a strong starter.
Amazing starter.
He's great off the grid. I didn't realize that, and I really looked into it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I didn't even realize that about
him. So if you want to see some great Formula One highlights, look for Alonso starts and look for Raikkonen starts.
Yeah, Raikkonen as
both of them. I mean, incredible. And I think it's one of those things that only comes after a lot of years of experience. I mean, I watched Alonso's opening laps at Silverstone this year, and he is so good at just picking his way through, finding gaps, reading the guy ahead, and anticipating what he's going to do and doing the opposite so he gets the line or he gets the move done. Phenomenal starter.
Yeah. No, you know, I'd expect it with Alonso, but Jimbo, with Kimi, I'd expect him to be better at the finish than the start.
Oh,
You know, I'm all for supporting you.
Yeah.
We've done finish before.
But I'd expect him to be better at the finish. Oh, it's good to be back.
Man, how do you stand it?
It is good to be back.
do you know something? I mentally check out.
Yeah.
Like I mentally check out. Like these two, they can go on and you're just like, okay,
You
cool.
must teach me. You must teach me.
Nah.
You're making my heart sauna.
Ah, that's so
Sauna.
good because of Finland. Yes, James Hilsley, what a freaking legend.
But my thing is,
You deserve everything you get, James.
Yeah,
You're
you deserve a
freaking
punch in the-
legend. Yes. Yes.
yeah,
This
this is what I have to live with.
Oh my goodness, what a
God, I'm
living
only,
legend.
God, I'm only here once a week.
Yeah.
Like a ledge.
Like everybody was crying about how hard it was to manage their tires.
Yeah, I think the thing about those intermediates is they got to when they were fresh. In the opening stages of the race was cool because the track was damp enough, the conditions were right for intermediates. But as the race wore on, and the track wasn't getting wetter, but it wasn't getting drier, and they were wearing through the tread, they found that particularly when the guys came in for a stop for a fresh set of inters on that surface, which has been redone, which is super abrasive anyway, and now you're running an inter tire on a surface that's not quite. I mean, it is inter territory, but it's not. And those tyres went through a horrendous first couple of laps where they grained terribly and there was nothing in them. And then slowly they came back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think tyre management was a big part of it. And you know, for Bottas to keep the lead like he did and just manage his race so well, I mean, it really is a testament to what a good driver he really is.
So, because he's left now, hasn't he?
Well, he will at the end of the season, yeah. Not quite yet.
No, I mean,
No,
he's officially out, unofficially still in.
Yeah.
Still has to be a professional because...
He's working his notice period, let's put it that way.
He's ended in his 7 races? No. But I mean, absolutely true what Sen's saying. But before we discuss that, because it was such a big part of the race, obviously I watched a 35-minute package, probably should have been asleep at midnight, but I thought, no ways, I need to see what's going on. But earlier in the race, obviously, a Japanese sensation who has to move to Italy because we don't trust that you're going to be disciplined in Japan.
Yeah.
Tsunoda, Hamilton, that's the stuff I would have missed if I didn't actually stay up at midnight for the 35-minute package.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff there.
Yeah, and I know I've had a lot to say about old Yuki.
You have.
I've had a lot to say to him. And I'm surprised that AlphaTauri kept him for next season. But, you know, it just takes those few laps to show what potential the guy has.
Yeah.
To be racing Hamilton, to be defending against Hamilton the way he did for as long as he did, without letting Hamilton pass, well, he passed eventually, but he put up a really good fight, and he didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
He just kept it together. He defended supremely well. Ultimately, it ruined his race because he said he had to chew through his tyres to keep that Mercedes behind him. And unfortunately for him, it meant he finished out of the points ultimately. But it was a great display of really good racing in really tricky conditions with huge pressure.
Yeah, it is huge pressure. And James, let me tell you something about Tsunoda. I mean, we can see the talent. Obviously, he's brilliant as a talented guy, but he's got a long way to Kyo.
What?
A long way to Tokyo.
Oh, Tokyo.
To Kyo.
You almost hit the nail, Honda.
This is the best Formula One show that's ever been made.
Honda head.
I hit the nail on the head. Oh my word. Guys, this is incredible. I mean,
This was painful.
what do you guys think? That's top level. Honda head, Senzo. Are you joking? Tsunoda, we linked Japan in there.
And your Honda, like, I see the whole thing you guys do.
You're having none of it.
No, not that I'm having none
You're
of
a
it. I'm just
professional.
like, whatever.
So Spike, a long way to Kyo for Tsunoda. But listen, moments like that will shape his sort of what the team's thinking. Because, we always look at the race starts and we miss so much. Is like, part of the culturing process is he has to learn to do this. You know, you can't. It's not just about winning. Is you got to learn the whole spectrum of driving. Sometimes your car's not on. What's your defensive driving like, right? And I was reading a little article this morning because I was also like, what are we talking about? And then I was like, oh no, Spike knows what he's talking about. I do need to read up a little bit about this. But the full spectrum of a driver isn't just get in a fast car, you're very talented at swinging it around corners. Defensive driving is a huge part of winning championships.
Yeah.
You know, it's the difference between maybe getting a point here and there rather than losing that point when the car's not on, the conditions aren't on, or something like that.
Also for your constructor as well, like let's say you have to drive defensively because that guy choose us, it's over for our team, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this, as you say, it will be a career, not career defining, but it'll be a big lesson for him to have, certainly in terms of his confidence, because he must have taken a knock this season with the mistakes he's made and the pressure he's been under and the comments that have been made from the likes of me saying, you know, what the hell? You know, for him to be able to pull that off or to at least execute that as well as he did, he's going to look back and go, you know, cool, I can actually do it. I can keep my head about me. I can put in some good laps, and I can actually race against the world champion in a better car, and you know, hold him off for a decent amount of time.
And I think it's important for a guy like him. And again, I'm thinking just from the business side, it's important for him to become not necessarily the face of or part of the branding, because I think Asia is, we know as a market, right? And I mean, he's Japanese. It's still. What is that? 120 million people living in Japan somehow, or whatever the population of Japan.
Like 250 or so.
Crazy.
Or whatever it may be. Is listen, that market is still largely untapped for something like this. Is that we've seen it in football. A guy called Son Heung-min, right? There was
Sounds Korean.
He is Korean.
Yeah. No. He's very, 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 very. But the good career.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he's allowed to leave his country, and he has rights. He can drive his Kia. He has a Samsung that isn't tapped, I don't think. Yeah. Okay. So he's fine.
Anyway,
it's the career you want to be in. But we've seen what that's done for the Premier League and Spurs. I was reading some of the numbers that they've gone through. So he plays for Tottenham Hotspur, and their numbers in Asia across the board have gone ballistic in terms of sales, purely by Son Heung-min being the biggest star. I mean, I forget who the K-pop guys are, but he is the next biggest star in Asian sport right now.
Yeah.
He is the absolute guy. Tsunoda is a clever move for the whole of Formula One. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of what you say there is very true, because it's not just so Tsunoda is the guy at the moment who is driving for Honda. He's driving for AlphaTauri, Honda powered. So there's obviously that connection, but also Honda have got together with Red Bull a young driver development program focused in Japan to find the next Tsunoda or the next Japanese star. Because Formula One has got a bit of a tenuous link, not tenuous, it's got a solid link, but the guys that have come through before have been, you know, the guys like Nakajima and, you know, a few others have come through.
Sato.
Yeah, Sato is another one. Sato was probably the most talented of the lot.
Yeah.
You know, guys like Aguri, who back in the 60s and 70s, I think, came through. He then had Super Aguri as a team. I think these guys they haven't been stellar performers.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Honda's looking to do. They're looking to create the next superstar. And Tsunoda will lead that charge. But over the years, I expect to see a few more drivers, certainly Honda-backed drivers being punted by Honda to try and get them into Formula One for exactly those reasons, because it'll give them that commercial gain in that territory.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things, especially about Japan, is we now know the last 50 years is like, if you get involved with Japan, is like, we're not going to just kind of do this thing. Japan.
No.
We're going to do it properly.
Absolutely,
and if you plug into the sort of Japan, then you know they're going to produce 10 drivers in the next decade.
Yeah.
And now we're really talking about a sport that can compete even with golf. You know, golf's big problem is, largely speaking, Europe, America. Largely speaking, right? Is they're really struggling. Again, if you don't have a Vijay Singh, if you don't have an Ernie Els, if you don't have a Gary Player, we can see what the numbers for golf are becoming. And if you don't have Tiger Woods, Tiger's the only one where I can take a sport that's really for rich guys, rich old guys with a book, and make it for everyone in the world. And now people in Malaysia want to watch. I think Formula One, I have to imagine they're smart guys. I believe they're doing that.
Yeah, and I think they also want to tap into there's already a strong fan base for Formula One in Japan. It's why they race in Japan, which they won't be doing this year, which is why we're racing at Turkey's, because Suzuka cancelled because of COVID.
Yeah.
And that I just need to say is a great pity, because Suzuka is one of the best circuits on the calendar.
Yeah.
But every time they race in Suzuka, the fan base goes mental. They are properly Formula One mad, the fans there. And so I think they've got nothing to lose by trying to grow that fan base. Because, as you say, when they get into it properly.
Oh.
You know, and as far as the drivers go, you know, you talk about drivers and which are their favorite circuits. A lot of them comment on Suzuka because it's a fantastic circuit. As a driver's circuit and a technical challenge, it's superb. But a lot of them also comment on the fact that they love the fans.
Yeah, in Japan. Hey, Senzo, you watch the Formula One this weekend, or you?
I watched the highlights, but I must say that...
What, 6 minutes or 30?
35, yeah. There's 2 highlights
The
packages.
35.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, so you watched the full package.
Do you know what my favorite thing was?
Yeah.
That Perez-Hamilton battle.
Oh!
Gee whiz.
Wow.
Amazing, eh?
Gee whiz.
That's actually a good segue, because I mean now we're getting into the meat of it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now we talk about tires. So one of the things that they spoke about at the beginning of the race was Hamilton's decision to go with a high downforce setup, which a lot of the teams ran less wing. Hamilton was like, screw that, I don't want straight line speed, I want to be able to nail it in the corners, that's where I'm going to make up my positions.
Yeah.
And he did. I mean, he had an absolute stonking start to the race. He picked his way through pretty much at will. That move on Perez, I watched that and I thought to myself, as soon as they get onto the start finish, Hamilton's going to think to himself, damn it, I wish I hadn't gone with a high downforce setup, because the Red Bull was quicker in a straight line.
Yeah.
And I think if Hamilton had stuck with a normal, in inverted commas, setup and hadn't had that high downforce setup, he probably would have nailed that pass when he did. But because he had the extra drag, he was Perez was able to just get ahead just in time.
Yeah, because like 3 times they zigzag, lead,
always,
change,
yeah.
I go, you go.
Yeah.
And what I loved about Perez there is eventually, I think it was coming into the straight, where he just stayed aggressive, like, nope, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He held them. Because, like, I saw something on Twitter. This person's like, don't know a lot about Formula One, but man, that was entertaining and beautiful to watch.
Beautiful is the word. It was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
really, through that sequence of corners.
It was, because it was like, is he, won't he, will...
Yeah.
And then, for me, obviously, watching as an aficionado like you, Spike, is I do sometimes get out of myself and I go, how are they doing this with this control?
Exactly.
Like you're going to, hey, you are moving at 180 kilometers. Look out. Like,
Because I'm just like, you know what I'm busy thinking? I'm like, guys, you know, if this was just a normal person, people would have crashed long ago.
But you know, the thing is, this is what I love about not just Formula One, but all professional sport.
Yeah.
Is because it's really great to sit back and go, wow, that looked cool, or that, you know, it was really amazing. But then to look at it from like the average person's point of view, because I maintain that if any one of us, I don't care how fit we are, without, you know, I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
I'm relatively fit. You're like 6'9".
Yeah.
You're fit. I don't know how tall you are, but you're pretty fit. But the thing is, if we had to play a rugby match and we ended up at the bottom of the scrum, we would be dead.
Yeah.
That we would die. There's no question.
Immediately.
And I think that for example, that sequence of corners, Hamilton and Perez battling, not only battling as tightly as they did, and for it to last as long as it did, and for them to come out on the other side both intact, just goes, this is why these guys get paid millions of dollars, because they are the best drivers in the world.
Exactly, because the thing is, like, and coming to your point again, Spike, like, when you watch, like, professional sport, right, you watch it on TV and you're just like, okay, yeah. But then when you watch it live, you're like, the speed at which things are happening at you, just like, it's just like, okay, you can't be normal too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's such a good point, right? Is we had Flip van der Merwe, he was in South Africa. He was in here a week and a bit ago, right? Is that, like, everyone, you know, most of the guys in here would have played sport or whatever. It's like, and then Flip walked in here and it was like, oh, that's the difference.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to look like.
Yeah.
Like, it's non-negotiable. You got to be 120 and have, I mean, his shoulders now, and he hasn't played rugby, I think, for 3 years. He still looks like somebody has sculpted his shoulders to go and destroy somebody's neck or something. You know what I mean? But he just looks like there's extra human parts on him.
Yeah.
But that's where you see it. Like, you know, you look at
Shoulder extensions.
You look at a scrum off on TV and you're like, that guy's small. Until you stand next to one, a professional scrum off, and you're like, this guy's actually massive.
Yeah. He's just small compared to the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
I remember I bumped into at the old SABC. I bumped into Kobus Viso waiting to catch a lift.
Oh my goodness.
And I was minding my own business, and I walked up to the elevator, and then I noticed this like shadow next to me, and then I looked, I was like, oh, who moved the building indoors? And Kobus Viso is the biggest person I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, Dwayne
He's
Vermeulen-
like literally 3 times as wide as me.
Yeah.
And probably at least 1.5 times my height.
Dwayne Vermeulen, like, I took a photo with him once, and I was like, I look like a child. Next to this guy,
And
like a
Dwayne
child.
Vermeulen looks like a child next to Quibus Visa. Quibus Visa is he's the size of a pool house at a nice house.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, just a pool house with 2
Yeah.
bathrooms.
I mean, what car does that guy drive?
No, he doesn't.
tank.
Yeah,
I mean, does he drive like a microbus or like so you can
Nah.
slide open the side door and get
what
in
are
that
his
way?
options? And then, now, having said that, F250.
Guys, how do flip fit in this chair?
No, that chair's a little bigger than it looks. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a scrum half on TV. Yeah, and it is a little
The
big.
scrum
big.
half effect.
But I mean, let's talk about that before we go on a break. Is Quibus Visa's car options F250?
Yeah, F250 would be one.
I'll tell you what I was in this
Hummer
weekend.
H1.
I'll tell you what I was in. Hummer H1, the FJ Cruiser.
Yes.
FJ Cruiser not so much, eh?
Not so big,
yeah. FJ Cruiser is low and wide, but it's still like regular sized doors and what.
I'll tell you what he drives, because I was in one this weekend. I forgot about the real. In South Africa, I don't know what the word is besides this. The stapura. Spike, and I don't know how to translate.
I've never heard that word in my life.
It's hard to translate. Stapura, yeah, it's got that thing, yeah.
It's got that thing.
What is it?
A Hilux double cab.
Obvious.
He's an animal. I drove a Hilux double cab this weekend. One of the photographers, shout out to Craig David. I call him Craig David. His name's
Craig
His name's
David.
David. His name's David. Immediately I called
Did he
Craig.
fill you in?
All right. On that note,
There you go.
that is excellent.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do
That
it.
is bringing the house down. Spike Valentine. He's a professional. This guy. On the other side, listen. A guy who's been avoiding tax for his entire sort of adulthood once they discovered he could get a car around a track much faster than everybody else. Lewis Hamilton had an absolute crack over a race. We'll talk more about the tyres and the effect that they had on this weekend's proceedings and much, much more. Turkey. Whoa, what a race. God watering the pitch. The MKT Show. We're back on track. We're back on track. Let's go. I got to tell you something. It is great to be back. It is great to be back. Spike, I had a realization yesterday. It's great to have a life I don't need a holiday from. Like, I was just as excited to go to... Well, I wasn't on holiday, in fairness. I was working, but I was in a place which feels like a holiday. But it was awesome to be there. My passion's mountain running. And as I was coming back, sometimes there is a bit of dread back in the day. Before we started having jobs and maybe actually making our houses nice, there was that dread, like, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to get home. I got to tell you, I'm living pretty well right now. My life's going pretty well. So it's great to see you, by the way. Haven't seen you for a while. Great to see you, Senzo, by the way, as well. It is nice to see you. It's great to see everyone at the back. Now, there were some issues before you came here, Spike.
I heard so, yeah.
No. These, I don't think you've heard about this issue.
Right.
I complimented kind of everyone when I walked in here. Everyone got a compliment. Ryan's wearing a nice shirt today. James, I think I complimented his attitude. Welcome is always here at like 2 a.m. I think he lives here. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say that he lives here, but his marriage may be falling apart because he seems to always be here.
Right,
Welcome is here before us and he leaves after us.
He loves this place, eh?
No, I think his marriage
Like,
is falling apart and he's just had a baby. Welcome.
Wow.
So I don't know how that's going for the other half.
The constants and the certainties in life, death, taxes, and welcome being here.
Yeah, hey. Well said. Right, and
Trust me, he's always here.
he's never not been here.
Exactly. Or was it just like, dude, when do you go home? Like,
Yeah. He's never gone home.
The question is, when did he start being here? Will we ever know?
Well, it's kind of like an alcoholic, really. Is people always go, "Oh, he's sobered up." No. Really, some people get drunk. You know what I mean? There is no getting sober for some people. It's just a matter of re-upping the drunkenness and getting it.
dosage.
You know what I mean? Jimbo, what you got for us in the back there, pal?
You missed a pun opportunity.
Oh, come on.
James, this is why I've got you behind, mopping up. You know what makes every great lead? a great backup singer. What you got for me, pal?
He just welcomed a baby.
Ah, you're so right. And he did as well. He did as
Because
well.
his name's Welcome.
No,
and
his
he
name...
welcomed a baby into the world.
James, did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Because it shows. It does show. You've had an incredible weekend. All right, let's get back to the Formula One talk. And, James, as we move into intermediate talk, I won't get tired of talking about
as long
this.
as you guys are having a good time.
You know?
Yes.
I'm back. We're back. James is back. Spike is back. Welcome back to the show. Senzo's here. Sipo's here. Ryan's here, obviously wearing an incredible t-shirt. He is a man who's rusting and is 1/4 Jewish, so shout out to him. Sia is a guy in the back. You may see in the beanie. It is an African summer. Why is he wearing that beanie? A lot of people are wondering. Let me tell you what happened here. Is that earlier on, I was alluding to this, was I was giving everyone compliments, right? Everybody had done something great, worn a great t-shirt, rusting, whatever. Sipo had cleaned up the sign, so Sipo's very good at cleaning. I'm not saying that's his job, it's just something he did well. I complimented him on that. And then I was looking for a compliment for Sia, and it's about 5 hours later, I still have not found a single compliment for him. So let's look at the man. You see Sia's face there. He's lost his confidence. And that beanie, actually, it's about 30 degrees in Africa, 30 degrees centigrade, about 95 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take. And so that beanie actually was for wiping his tears. In the ad break, he has been crying and he has wiped his tears. So that is Sia, one of our sort of new members of the team. And he'll bounce back, pal. There we go with the gang signs. And it's a tough time for all. That's Ryan's incredible shirt that I did compliment. All right, let's get back to it here. Never, or in a while, I haven't heard of a race where the tire talk post-race almost dominated a race, which was great on its own. So forget the tires. I guess the two are linked, but the race on its own was incredible. But, I mean, the tire talk has almost dwarfed an incredible race. I mean, like you said, Perez's race, Verstappen's race, Lewis Hamilton's race. But the tire talk, I mean, let's get into sort of the tire change rule, because I want to know what's going on there. Like, for obviously you and I as an aficionado know, but we need to explain for newbies like Senzo.
It's very simple, right? The teams they run two compounds of dry tires in a dry race. Mm-hmm. Then for wet weather like we had yesterday, there's intermediate and there's full wet tires. When it's a dry race, as ordained by race control, they will say, okay, it's dry race. You then have to, if it's a dry race, you have to use two sets of compounds. So you have to use the hard and the soft, or the soft and the medium, whatever's available for that race weekend. But because and if it's a wet race, you don't have to change tires. You can stay on the full wets or the intermediates. You only have to change tires when it's a dry race. So because yesterday was a wet race, no one had to change tires. There was nothing in the rules saying you had to pit and change tires. That's where it comes from. So then you had guys like Leclerc, Hamilton, and Ocon all gunning for the no-stop race, which ultimately wasn't the way to go.
Yeah, it was incredibly tough there. Tough to watch. Whose race fell apart? Was it Ocon?
I think that a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people will be asking why Mercedes decided to pit Hamilton as late as they did. After they initially said, excuse me, while everyone was pitting around lap 42, lap 43, they asked Lewis if he wanted to come in. He said, no, we need to stay on these tires. We need to stay on these tires. They're fine. The car feels fine. And eventually Mercedes called him in on lap 50.
But
51.
hold on, Spike, before we get to that, sorry, they called him up, the 50, 51. I just want to go back to what you were saying about Lewis there. And for me, like, I get anxious when things are not done in a hierarchy, especially in the elite levels. It's like,
right.
Why are you giving Lewis, he is great, but why is the team not immediately, like Lewis, we don't, like they did, by the way, 2 weeks ago, when it did work out, and he wasn't keen, and they said, get in here now, and it worked. Why give him the reign at all to say Lewis is in?
Oh, nice one there. You don't even notice that you did it.
Operating at an elite level at this stage.
So I think that the easiest way to explain it is when the track is going from dry to wet, then there's a lot more. I think it has to rely more on the driver, and then the driver's saying, "Look, I've still got traction. I can still feel here. The cars are right here. The tires feel good here." When it's going from wet to dry, I agree. I think the driver needs to be reined in a little bit. But when you've got a guy like Lewis Hamilton, who's a 7-time world champ and who's a team boss just about, going, it's fine, leave me out. These tires are good. I'm still, he was lapping at that stage when they first called him in. His lap times weren't too bad. And there was still a lot of question around, is it worthwhile changing to the Inters given that they grain and they struggle so early on? You're going to lose ground, or you're at the very least not going to gain anything initially. And then is there enough time afterwards to catch up what you've lost before? So I think they left it up to Lewis to say, do you want to come in? He was quite happy on those tires, and it was his call to stay out. But what happened in the end was they said to him at lap 51, they said, look, you have to come in, because at that stage they were losing, I think, around 2 seconds a lap to Gasly. I had a look at the lap times, and when Hamilton, on lap 46, Hamilton was 27.5 seconds ahead. By lap 50, he'd lost 3 seconds. If you extrapolate that to the end, if you look what happened with Ocon, who didn't change tyres at all, Ocon lost out to Stroll in the end, and Stroll took 17 seconds in 5 laps off Ocon at the end there. So Mercedes were like, look, we're gonna lose the podium now because we've left it too late. So it's either a matter of finishing 5th or 6th, because if we stay out any longer, Gasly is going to pass us. So they called him in and said, this is the last chance we've got to stay ahead of Gasly. If we stay out, Gasly will pass us in the end. So they called him in. Lewis was obviously, as we heard by the radio transmission, he was not happy.
No. I mean, a guy's been knighted, still drop an F-bomb. He doesn't care.
He was unhappy. He was unhappy. But then, again, this is why it's down to the team, because Lewis is out there going, these tyres feel fine. I feel fine. I've got confidence. I'm sliding a little bit, but it's okay. The team's going, look, pal, the guys behind you are lapping 2 seconds a lap faster.
Yeah.
You can't see them because they're 15 seconds down the road. But in 6 laps' time, they're going to be on your ass and they're going to overtake you no problem at all. So we've got the data. You need to come in and change tyres. And then, we'll have an argument afterwards about it. But ultimately, Lewis posted something on Instagram, I think today, saying, look, I was upset, but, in the heat of the moment when you're racing, you don't want to give up positions and you don't understand. But we chatted to the team. They all hugged and made up. They understand, and
they sold
to quote the great Sir Lewis Hamilton, still we rise.
In fact, I'm pushing back on the great Sir Lewis Hamilton. I have no time for that. Like, I get heat of the moment, but I thought the commentator said something great in Sochi when they were talking about drivers in the helmet are only thinking about the next corner, and somebody of his stature, Hamilton, at this stage, like, what do you think your team wants you to lose? Like, I'm sorry,
exactly.
At that moment I know, like, I can only imagine what it's like to be that competitive. But it's that moment where his greatness should come through and go, these guys, the data, the boys are going to take care of me. And in that moment, I mean, that's putting it on the line, right? He's put his team in an incredible situation. And also his job happens in public. So now we're like, because now the papers are going, is there trouble in the ranks?
And that's exactly what they did. And that's why he posted on Instagram, going, no, there's no trouble in the ranks.
And like, Formula One's hard enough without, who's the team principal there? Toto. Having to answer questions about Lewis and your relationship. Like, this thing's hard enough. Our engine has just gone, you know what I mean? We still got 6 races. We got some kid racing now, some Austrian kid or whatever. He's racing for Red Bull, who's making our life an absolute nightmare.
Giving us sleepless nights.
Dutch kid as well. Yeah, we got that to deal with. Like, Lewis, we don't need problems in the house on top of. So I'm not happy with Lewis Hamilton with the way that things went. Yeah. I'm happy as a viewer though, because great content.
It was superb. It was superb to watch. See that drama. But also Toto came out afterwards, and for once he didn't. If you look at what happened with McLaren and Sochi and Norris, they all came out and said, it was a team decision. We all kind of decided to stay out together, blah, blah, blah. After this race in Turkey, Toto Wolff came out and said, no, it was absolutely the right decision to bring him in. There was no team that, we told him to come in because it was the right decision.
Yeah.
They said that after he came in, his right rear tire was down to the canvas, which is basically down to the steel construction.
Yeah.
So they had that evidence. The guy who runs the Pirelli F1 operation, whose name is Mario Sola, he came out and said, well, that tire would not have lasted another 8 laps. Like, it would have failed.
Yeah.
So, someone took some control there and said, look, you are coming in. we don't care what your gut says or what you feel for the car is. You are losing ground. This tire will explode. Come in.
You do need some stones, though. Guys won, 7 championships?
Yeah, but he doesn't win it on his own. He wins with his team.
No, I like whoever has the stones to go, all right, we understand you're avoiding tax in Monaco.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do a little pit stop here, pal.
I like the fact that...
Box.
Yeah. I like the fact that... I mean, I'd love to hear the full communication, because a lot of the comment about why Hamilton was so upset was because he didn't get told that he would lose 2 positions. But they probably spoke to him in a way that made sure he would understand like that was not part of the conversation. So that he would think, oh, I'll come in and go out and I'll be like 4th and then I can fight. They probably on purpose didn't tell him about the position loss because they know they would have had another 3 laps of debate.
Yeah.
Or him saying, no, I want to stay out. No, you must come in. So they probably just said, look, come in, it'll be fine in the end, don't worry. And then they were like, rather ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
You know? And while he's shouting on the radio, they're just pushing him mute and they're like, finished.
Oh God, this guy.
Here he goes again, yeah. Yeah, see, if only he wasn't knighted, they would not be mates with him.
If only he hadn't won 7 world champions.
7, eh?
Man.
Yeah, it's tough to tell a guy who's won it 7 times not to come in on lap 42. I mean, it is tough. It is tough not to let him kind of say, you know what, guys, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But again, listen, Lewis Hamilton obviously sleeping in his palace tonight, probably hang out with old Philip there. They probably cheers and chicken.
So?
I think they probably hang out. Like Philip's like, hey, if you're gonna live here, you kind of paid for the right not to pay taxes.
I can't imagine Albert and Philip. I mean, Philip and Hemi Ham hanging out together.
You don't
You'll
think
be
so?
surprised.
No, I kind of think
so?
Yeah, because
be surprised.
like if you're a prince, right? His life's been incredibly awesome. His whole life he'll always be around. Plus, his wife's stuck here now. Okay, I don't.
Oh, she's stuck here.
Yeah, there's a whole operation
shame.
thing, but I think she doesn't want to be caught up like Rapunzel in a palace again. Anyway.
Oh, too late.
Yeah, there was some stuff, but she's back here now.
Right.
She's claimed that her ear infection. So shout out to her for having an excuse to stay away from the guy.
Yeah.
Because don't want to be locked up like Rapunzel, and her hair's not long enough to let someone else up. Maybe maybe.
Also, that tower's got no windows, man.
Yeah, honestly.
That's also very true.
Ew.
But his life's been incredible. It is Philip, the guy in...
Is it Philip or Albert?
It's Albert.
Albert.
Sorry, yeah. Albert's life's been incredible.
Albert, Philip, George, Henry,
Philip's
Harry.
the Bali from England, eh?
Yeah, the one that kicked the bucket.
Lizzie's wife. I mean, Lizzie's husband.
Yeah.
Wrong. I've mixed up a bunch of people who've done nothing.
They're all related somehow, don't
Yeah, they are very incestuous if you don't know historically those people.
Although, to be fair, I think the Grimaldis are like a separate clan in town. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like branch on the tree.
Yeah.
But probably...
Like different tree, I think. Like
probably incestuous with the Dutch people or there's something happening in
Italians,
the mix
it would have been.
The Italians, Monaco, very, very nice. But his life's been awesome his whole life. If I was just him, I hang out with who's hot right now. Like Lewis, it's not that I like you. I just need this for the photos.
You're just good for my brand.
Yeah, well, because you have to pay for citizenship basically in Monaco, right? Is Lewis Hamilton didn't get that residence. I'm fully aware of how it works. Is, by the way, we've got a trust because there's that family, famous trust in Monaco that do a lot of work. In fact, the head of it is a lady who's here right now, who people are saying is Rapunzel and was stuck there, and now she's faking an ear infection so she doesn't have to go back. But her main job, imagine this, is running the trust for the royalty in Monaco. So probably Lewis Hamilton understands, we need photos with you, pal. We don't really like you. Yeah, we don't really like you.
Dog.
Yeah, we don't. I'm pretty sure... What's the name? Albert is shocked that there's a Formula 1 race every year around his yacht.
What are you guys doing?
Okay, all right.
This what's happening?
Yeah, no, this was...
I'm down with that.
Yeah, now how long till I can get to my yacht?
Right, yeah. When are you guys going to be done?
Do you think like being the Prince of Monaco, like, you know, the freedom of the city?
Yeah.
Like, do you think he has like the freedom of the yacht? Like, he just walks along the marina and just goes, yeah, that one, and then he walks on board, and no one can stop him legally because he's the Prince of Monaco.
Do you know what the thing is about being royalty?
No, actually, I don't. I have no idea.
No. What gets me?
Yeah.
It's the eternal shotgun. You shotgun the country. You
yeah.
eternal shotgun. You're like, listen, guys, I'm the boss for as long as.
Yeah, if you're alive and you have tax money to pay.
Yeah, I'm in
coming
charge.
to you.
It's coming to me. And anybody with my blood as well.
Yeah.
What I dig is, like David Beckham was a big deal, you know? Like a big deal for a long time. It's like, still Harry's going, that's excellent. All of the money you bring into England, that's coming through me, and I can spend it whenever.
No, you can't, because he's excommunicated himself.
No, well, that was then. David Beckham was a while ago. Now he married an American lady who doesn't... Wow, she is...
Imagine now having your face on money.
Is that the ultimate flex?
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's me.
Oh,
Hello, it's me.
it's me again.
So when did Lizzie get her money, her face on money? When did she become queen? Like really young?
56.
53, no.
In the
53.
50s?
Yeah, 1953.
Yeah, she's the longest reigning,
She's been queen for 70 years, though.
longest ever in UK history.
So she was in her 30s then?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
No, 20s.
late 20s.
Oh my goodness, how...
She's been queen for 70 years, dude.
Guys, you know what you were like at 20. Imagine what she was up to. Like if there was Instagram back then, imagine she was up to...
You know what she was up to?
Yeah.
Whatever she wanted.
Yeah, I know, well
Yeah.
said.
But like,
Well said.
do you know what I feel sorry for though? Prince Charles. Like, when's this hag dying so I can be king? Just once. Just once.
And
I
also...
don't know. I mean, you think about Charles also. Great life.
Yeah.
Like a third of the responsibility.
That's true though.
He's-
All the perks,
Yeah.
very little of the stress. Except for when he got divorced and married what's-her-face.
Yeah.
Yeah, Camilla.
Massive downgrade
Yeah.
there. What's it? I've always thought this is whatever the like guy who's 16th in line for the throne, who still gets the manor. It's like being a third choice goalkeeper in football.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is you still get 40,000 pounds a week.
Do you know what must have been great? Prince Harry, before he excommunicated himself, and then George came along. He was like, yo, that's great.
Oh, yeah, one more step away. Thanks very
Well,
much.
That's great.
Although I wouldn't want to be them because he's still like a feature. I'm talking about the guy who's 16th
Like
down
Princess
the line.
Beatrice.
Whoever.
Yeah.
Although-
She's got a knife.
No, not
Yeah.
like her, because I know her. I'm talking about the one who's 16th down the line, probably gets 10 million pounds a year just for being alive, you know.
Yeah.
And there is a manor and a villa all around, like in Luxembourg, you know, that all
Yeah.
mated back in the day. I want to be that person where nobody knows who you are, but you're at Oxford and it's paid for, and you probably own 3 houses in Botswana just because of the history. You know what I mean? That's who you want to be. Third choice goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's who I'd want to be. Shout out to Albert. Shout out to Rapunzel, who's back. Good luck with her ear infection. Lewis Hamilton. Shout out to you avoiding tax and being one of the true greats of driving. Maybe pit stop when they tell you to.
You're obsessed with people not paying taxes, eh?
Yeah.
You always mention it.
Yeah.
Pay your taxes. Like we all have to. You know what I mean?
But if you live in a country where there's no tax to be paid, you don't pay tax.
That's a very good point. I once sat down there at a restaurant. It's 5,000 euros just to author. 5,000. Yeah. 5,000.
5,000 what?
Francs or whatever they're doing over there.
No, euro.
Euro. To sit down. Yeah.
I heard
no.
something ridiculous about like docking your yacht in Monaco is like something ridiculous.
No. You've said it. You know
No,
the ridiculous part is having the yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a yacht.
Because even if whether you're using it or not, you are hemorrhaging money.
No, you said ridiculous yacht. Spike Ballantyne. Great stuff today.
It's been my pleasure, thanks.
Unlike your past, this is the time you want to see a checkered flag.
I gotta go.
Let's be out.
The MKT Show, ladies and gentlemen. Racing aficionado, pun aficionado. It is good to be back for the next 2 days. Just so I warn you in advance, expect a military coup from a Portuguese human being from Thursday onwards. I will be in Cape Town. So we have today, we have Tuesday, we have Wednesday together, and then I will leave again. This time, let's see if we can get technology to work. But it's awesome to be back. Great way to start this Monday. Ryan says, you can look like me if you don't drink water. Incredible way to start the week. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is MKT. This has been the MKT Show. And for now, we are the hell out of here.